There are several conferences around the country that touch on victims' issues, and some that touch on victim services, like social services for victims. This is the only conference in the entire country held each year where we talk about the law and how you enforce the rights.
And when we talk about victims' rights, what I think generally people probably go to physical, crime kinds of victims. Does it span over more issues than that?
Yeah, it's victims' rights attached to any victim. It varies kind of based on what state you're in, what the definition of victim is. But victims' rights attached to property crime victims, to violent crimes, to financial fraud crimes, identity theft. And the idea is that actually what's sad but interesting is that the trauma that every victim faces, whether it is a violent personal crime or a financial crime that devastates your business, each of those victims has an emotional and trauma reaction to it. And so victims' rights were designed to help the whole gamut of victims and to help them kind of have a voice in the criminal system no matter what their victimization was.
My parents were murdered in 1981, so I've been active in victims' rights since that time. And I do this because when I was trying to find someone to help me, there just wasn't anybody. And so I really know the feeling of anguish that you have as a victim, being overwhelmed by the criminal justice system, not knowing what your rights are, but feeling that you need to be heard about what's going on because it is so personal to you.
Do you feel like we're making progress on the concept of victims' rights?
I do. I think it's come a long ways even since my brother was murdered. I think that victims now have more rights than they did before, are more involved, included, and informed in the criminal justice process. And it's because of organizations like NCVLI that I think we've come a long ways.
Are there any sessions in particular that you're looking forward to or you've participated in thus far?
I think what's always most interesting to me is hearing about the cases that are going on and how victim rights attorneys, many of them pro bono, are doing this work on behalf of crime victims. Also sessions such as protecting victim privacy and confidentiality in terms of what a defendant can have access to. I'm looking forward to that. And sessions about domestic violence victims and sex assault victims and what's the difference. It really is a unique opportunity to have sessions specifically focused on the crime victim, which is not really something that you see in other conferences.
And what do you think is the value of a place like NCVLI? How do they help, or do they help with the work you're doing?
Yeah, it absolutely is. At first I didn't know. I was kind of like, oh, let us do it on our own, but we really couldn't. What they've done is they've shared experiences from people who did it before us, and so we are able to work without having to reinvent the wheel. And if we get a complicated case with a short timeline, we call them, and within hours or days we have answers, we have something we can submit to the court, something that my staff just wouldn't be able to do in short time frames. So their expertise and their resource has been totally invaluable to our clinic.